Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Fallout New Vegas. Now, Windows likes to update and change my audio settings quite a bit and just move things around. Everything sounds and seems to be okay today. Everything looks okay, but hopefully that will be the case. I'm just going to warn at right now on that. Like I have checked as much as I can check. Um, So in the last episode, which I also had to double check to make sure that it was okay, we finished in a very ADD fashion several missions, several quests. So we really don't even have too many quests left before we are going to just be forced to finally start doing the main story, which honestly I think we are playing the game closer to the way it was intended to be played. I really cheated to get into New Vegas earlier than I think you're supposed to by using the monorail um, without without letting it blow up. But even that seems to indicate that the monorail got repaired fairly quickly, so I had already pushed the story forward enough. There is in the loading screen a talk of Rita's Diner. I have yet to see any Rita's Diner. You would half expect there would be several of them alongside the roads. Um, and that really highlights something that I'm feeling, which is I should be talking and walking. Um, really highlights that there's just not as much of a effort, I think, put into. Think I could actually hit that from that distance? Nah. We should probably just run over here and see what it's worth to kill these big horners now. Yeah, it's still worth 50 XP. So, hunting the buffalo to extinction does make some sense. And my bullets are strong enough now, which is to say my gun stats are strong enough now that you can just get away with shooting 3 or 4 bullets without going into bats, without wasting a bunch of time doing it. But yeah, compared to my fuzzy memories of playing Fallout 3, which would have really only been a couple years ago that when I played Fallout 3 a second time for my channel for the first time, it just doesn't feel like the level design and the storytelling is particularly as ambitious. It's way less ambitious in New Vegas. You just don't run into what would be a building, but it has been decorated to look like a diner or a gift shop or a location where a specific tribe might be camping. It's all very copy and paste in this game. When we get to each of these ranger stations, for instance, yes, the layout is slightly different, but it's always just tents, and in the tents is always sleeping bags, and maybe some foot lockers, and that's it. There's nothing unique or special about this ranger station versus any of the other ranger stations. And in the Red Rock Canyon with the Great Khans, same thing. Bunch of tents. Inside the tents, sleeping bags. They look a little bit different. We're going to Jonestown, by the way, to talk to this take Rex, the half-robot dog, to Dr. Henry in Jacobstown to learn how he can be fixed. So theoretically, Rex is following us, but in reality, I don't think he really is. I think I'm going to probably have to dismiss Eddie and then fast travel back to Jacobstown what it feels like is Eddie might technically be an animal companion, whereas this arcade Ganyan, who has yet to really give me any side quests, but which I'm hoping every companion would give me side quests. I don't get a feeling that there's going to be marriage in this game like there would be in Skyrim. So, certain level, this does just feel like you are. I think we need mantis eggs. So, this might not be a terrible way to go find some mantis eggs. Xander root does seem like some kind of uniquely special item.
Looks like break time's over. Here we go.
Still getting 50 XP for these guys. I think their poison glands are somewhat useful, somewhat valuable. These Kaz doors. Wouldn't be surprised if that word is just Spanish for like fly or wasp. Definitely wasn't expecting them to play such a big role as a major enemy. I would have thought they would have just been minor nuisances at most, and fairly infrequent enemies. So this might be another case where sticking to the road is safer. We know in Jonestown there's gonna be some Nightbreed or super mutants. That doesn't inherently mean, though, that they are going to be aggressive.
What a shame.
We're getting only 10 XP from the mantises. The ring quest that we have here. Let's see, where is it? Red Lucy needs giant mantis eggs. It's faster to gather them at a breeding ground like Vault 22. Yeah. That quest could have us running around all over the map fighting animals. Which yeah, that could do something different. You can see a very different background that to me doesn't really make a lot of sense. Yes, I know at nighttime the desert gets extremely cold, but I don't think you would have snow-capped mountains inside of Jonestown. Unless this is all hologram, which how would you tell with the glitching of the game itself, or the nuclear fallout has changed the weather. Which, if you were going to do that and say that nuclear fallout has just changed the weather completely, then why not do that more often and more randomly? So here we have super mutants. Let's see.
Better watch out. Lily's been babbling about with grandkids and that.
Welcome to Jacobstown, human. You're free to walk around. Just don't stare at the nightkin. They don't like people looking at them. And if you're NCR, keep it to yourself. They're not popular around here.
Let's see. Let's exhaust the dialogue and actually listen to it until I get bored.
Such as, was a resort pre-war. I renamed it to Jacobstown after an old friend. Died a long time
So
ago.
Marcus here is an
I figured us
intelligent
mutants
super
needed
mutant.
a place to call our own. Town's far enough away from humans so they don't bother us much. One of these days I'm hoping we can trade with the rest of the wasteland. No more fighting, just get along. Was part of a super mutant army. Ran a town, walked the wasteland with a tribal. Now I'm here. Long story, so here's the short version. The Master created the super mutants and Nightkin. The Master thought he could unify everyone. No more differences, no more war. Didn't end well.
So I assume he was trying to turn humans into super mutants and Nightkin. There were no Nightkin that I recall in Fallout 3.
Town was Broken Hills. Bunch of super mutants, humans, and ghouls all living together peacefully. Well, most of the time. We were looking for a Gek to save the village of Arroyo. Eventually, we did. Nuked an oil rig in the process. We went separate ways after that. I went east into the Rockies, looking for other mutants like myself. Don't know what happened to my friend. I've got a feeling it turned out all right in the end.
So I assume a lot of this is literally just talking about events of Fallout 1 or Fallout 2.
All right.
Which, from my perspective, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 desperately need remakes to maintain their relevancy.
A lot of bad blood between super mutants and humans. Goes back years. Some here still got the scars and memories. Me? I don't really have a problem with the NCR. Set their sights a little too high sometimes, but they try. Legion? That's another story.
So here's another faction we can convince to fight the Legion. And so, weirdly though, I feel like it's getting a little too easy to unite all the factions against Legion. And I half wonder if it wouldn't be a kind of brilliant storytelling twist, which I don't expect from this game, if the Legion straight up surrendered, disappeared, left the area, and then you have all these factions who are united against one enemy, no longer united against one enemy, and instead just turn and fight against each other again.
Caesar thinks he can change human nature. Most of the Legion is following Caesar, not Caesar's ideals. When he's gone, it'll crumble. Might not happen overnight. Might take a few decades, but it'll happen. Basic human nature. Greed, ambition, jealousy. We'll see to it. They expand. Fast. If you got land they want, they'll take it. Eventually. Did it out west, they'll do it here. They keep rolling over people. They'll regret it. That's how revolutions start. Seen them grow from a single town, Shady Sands, into the Republic. They've done good for the most part. Not really. Heard it's a paradise in the wasteland. Never been there myself. Doubt they'd let a mutant
This is
in.
still
Amazing.
way too much
People would
dialogue.
come from all over the waste to throw away everything they've got in that town. All right. Nightkin suffers schizophrenia from the stealth boys they're always using. One of the reasons I settled Jacobstown was so they could be cured. While they're in town, the Nightkin aren't allowed to have stealth boys, so their craziness doesn't get worse. Trouble is, the Nightkin don't like being visible either. They don't take being exposed too well.
Interesting. Let's ask the town rules.
Same as any civilized town. Don't start any fights or steal anything. We'll treat you fair. Not a lot.
That's a
to
great
ask.
example of a line of dialogue maybe not needed. Let's talk about
A
Neil.
lot of the mutants here found out about Jacobstown because of Neil. Our isolation works against us sometimes.
And then we're doing the main quest of looking for Dr. Henry.
Doc's inside the lodge. See you.
So that, yeah, it's just a little too much dialogue from one person. There kind of needs to be more of a walk and talk on something like that. And the easiest way, I imagine, would be he stops you, asks you if you want to go on the tour. If you go on the tour, he walks you around the entirety of the Jacobstown local map area, pointing out locations and talking and telling you about things. And then at least there would be more of an action kind of cutscene. And if you just say, I'll skip the tour, then you just skip the tour and you just don't get that information. This entire mountain area, surrounded by three sides, does make me wonder if we're ever going to reach any of this area here, or if this entirety of this map section is unnecessary. And as you take the tour, you would have discovered Jacobstown and gotten 10 XP, so I could see that helping fill out maps nicely. I could see that encouraging people to play. Here we have Lily. Let's talk to Lily, I guess.
Jimmy, little Jimmy, my, how you're grown up. So good of you to come visit your grandma. I watch over the bighorners. They're sweet, gentle creatures, but sometimes they get ornery, just like my grandkids. Talk to you soon, dear.
So, yeah, there is definitely a problem with having people who are full-on schizophrenia and super mutant powers. As far as it seems, it looks like the layout and the design here is fairly boring. You've got some houses here that maybe are locations where these non-important NPCs sleep. And then we have one big building. So there may not be much of a quest here. So we'll have to figure out if we can befriend Jacobstown easily, or if we have to figure something else.
Bother someone else. I don't want anything to do with you. Dr. Henry, he's one of you. Go speak with him instead of me. Finally.
Yeah, and if you're really gonna, like, role play and somebody tells you don't talk to me, you would think you would just stop talking to him. The layout of this room and building is exactly the same as the layout of the other mansion, as far as the exterior frames and edges. The decoration is different, but I guess the layout of these rooms is slightly different. There's nothing really you can find here. You would expect to find meat sacks, or at least a different meat, different food, different decorations. Things more broken up here. You have just a dead end that makes no sense. Does look like we could take things. So we might be in a better position. We might do well to have our doctor companion with us also for this mission. Our science and medical, I think, are already high enough to probably accomplish anything. It would make some logical sense to have, probably should just take, like, cat's eye. There's just no reason not to take it. Yeah, this could be in a different area, specifically so. I guess we're picking up sensor modules now. But it might be in a far-reaching area specifically, so you have a high chance of having your stats and skills at a high level. This would be stealing, and yet this isn't. And this isn't. I am very confused on the fact that the bullet system that New Vegas seems to have just seems to completely contradict your gun stats. Seems like you could just use better bullets with a lower gun stat. So, Calamity, let's talk to her.
Huh. I'd heard there were new people in town, but I thought it was more super mutants. Nice to meet ya. I'm Calamity. Most of the time, I'm Dr. Henry's research assistant. We're looking into ways to cure the, I'm also handy with tools. And once in a while I venture down into the valley to trade the big horner hides and meat for supplies.
So she can repair things, but
Let me take a look.
I'm not sure it's ever really going to be worth it to repair anything or pay somebody to repair things. I do have enough caps where I could do it. Her repair skill is at 60, so my repair skill is higher.
All right.
I can buy things, but I would only really want to buy items that don't have any value or any weight to them. So just your medicines, stim packs. Magazines, perhaps. She has one outfit, one weapon. And the only reason I'd buy any of that is if I could sell something else. Which I don't know if I really can sell anything else. Let's see. These auto-inject stim packs are things I'm crafting. And then some of these items I wanted to drop. Trying to lower my weight, even though there's a decent chance I'm not even going to fight anything anytime soon. So yeah, unless I have just a ton of miscellaneous stuff to sell. Probably not going to bother to buy any of those items. Right. So magazines over drugs, I guess. Yep. That was a little too much. There you go.
Give me a shout if you need anything else.
Let's continue with the main quest now after we played Menu Hero in the shopping. Like, one of the things right now in 2024 with a lot of talk around AI, it certainly would be nice if there was procedurally generated quote-unquote AI suggestions on items to sell. Of course, it would be better if you just balanced your game and didn't have so much vendor trash. Or if items had better descriptions, or if you could look at the details on items and see what they could be used for crafting.
Prospectors looking for salvage, usually. They always run when they see the mutants. The great Khans come this way once in a while, but they keep their distance. I think they're mostly keeping an eye on us. Thank you. Change names and jobs every decade or so just to keep things interesting. I picked Calamity this time because it Sounded nice. Never really done much science stuff till now. I'm pretty good at it. Or so Dr. Henry tells me.
So no
Why?
side quest from any of that. You just have Calamity. Interesting enough character, but not really much of anything else to say about her. She definitely feels like a character that could play a bigger role, so it shows. And so here's Dr. Henry, very old looking guy. Seems like it's almost the same face model, just with a lot more wrinkles.
I assume this is about something important? You're interrupting my research.
Let's see.
I don't see him with you. Bring him to me and I'll take a look. Otherwise, I'll just be guessing. The Nightkin have varying degrees of mental instability due to their addiction to stealth boy use. I've been trying to come up with a cure. I'm currently investigating the local Night Stalker population, since they seem to have developed a natural stealth field. I've also gotten my hands on a working Stealth Boy Mark II prototype, but that experiment is riskier. I'd rather not pursue that research just yet.
Let's skip some of this dialogue. I really don't even care about a Stealth Boy Mark II. You really just cannot stealth your way through this game. There's no way that's going to work. It might help in the casinos if you wanted to try to rob the casinos, but I bet you would not really get very far doing that in New Vegas.
I'm not convinced that the Night Stalker mutation is a natural one, and I need someone to investigate their lair for proof. Some of the super mutants have looked around as well, but they've come back empty-handed. Perhaps a pair of fresh eyes will have better luck. Lily might be interested in coming with you. She's lost a few of her bighorners to Night Stalker attacks, and would enjoy a little revenge.
Okay. So we now have another quest to focus on.
I've compared the brain chemistry of a Nightkin to one of the local Night Stalkers we killed. They both exhibit similar neurochemical changes. Now, I'm not claiming that Night Stalkers are running around wearing stealth boys, mind you. I just don't think it's all a coincidence. The stealth field has been modulated to use less power and thus last longer, but for some reason it has pronounced negative effects on the user. However, these pronounced effects will allow me to pinpoint exactly what parts of the brain they're affecting. Unfortunately, I'll need to run the test on a live subject, and Marcus has encouraged me to investigate the Night Stalker mutation first. It's possible, but I've yet to see any hard evidence or hear of any cases where humans were negatively affected. Its negative effects are more pronounced on Nightkin.
You might as well just exhaust everything.
Because Marcus asked me to, and because it's a reason for me to get up in the morning. I'd like to get one more grand accomplishment done. If we must. Yes, specializing in neuroscience, both human and canine. Of course, this lab is nothing compared to what I had when I was with the Enclave.
So the Enclave does get mentioned here.
Cyberdogs and the like. It's not a field I work in much anymore. Yes, but the leadership and I didn't see eye to eye, so I left. It was the right decision, since the Enclave's oil rig was destroyed not long after.
So yeah, it definitely feels like these are characters from like Fallout 2.
I prefer the solitude, and having a bunch of super mutants around tends to keep things safe and quiet. Yes, yes.
Let's see. Let's pretend like we're gonna read this. Even the loading here of the text is just really, really slow by modern standards. It really should just pop up instantaneously. Like, some of the stylization would make sense and work if you were only seeing a small amount of text in the game, but for Bethesda games, you're seeing massive amounts of text. And overall, at least. Reloading bench doesn't do us any good. Really would just never run out of bullets. And inherently that's the thing, is that the game has to kind of work that way. You can't have a percentage of your players just unable to progress at all because they ran out of bullets and they're surrounded by enemies. And it's not like these games give you any kind of XP or anything when you die. They just load you to the last autosave. That definitely is a thing. Let's see.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Lose a little karma stealing the boxing times. It's funny how these guys react whenever I squat downward.
So many staring eyes.
Fixing things. It's very easy to not realize that you're seen or be seen in Bethesda games, even as you're hiding. Now this room is a lot nicer, and we have a unique pinball table model that we have not seen anywhere else. Which it definitely would have made more sense to see this model in some of the vaults. So I don't know if this is supposed to be a reference to something, or if it is just a... This might be the furthest location on the entire map, and that might be the one place they can squeeze in a model that just wouldn't fit anywhere else. If every other model is being loaded into RAM, and the consoles that this game would have come out on didn't have that much RAM. I would assume that these are really high up urinals, higher than the sinks. Yeah. Either that's a glitch or that's just somebody being silly with their placement. I would assume that the super mutants are both genders, or hermaphroditic maybe is the right word there. If the master was trying to make all humans exactly the same. Of course, genetic diversity is necessary to save species, so even if you made a super powerful super mutant race that was all the same, looked the same, it would still be very vulnerable to a new mutated virus or sickness or disease. And I suppose it is very important to point out that a character called the Master creating a super pure super mutant race is literally just being stolen from Doctor Who. There's a character called the Master in Doctor Who. He creates the Daleks. The Daleks are a race that sees themselves as genetically pure, and they hate all other species and try to kill them all. And of course the Daleks are based off of just Nazism propaganda, the Aryan pure race mentality.
You think Marcus could get us some miniguns? Or missile launchers?
Just come in here. It is nice that you can jump. There would be a lot of games from this era where you would have not been allowed to jump and everything you would have been saying wouldn't actually have been loaded in. This feels very much like some of the Capitol building sections of Fallout 3, where you would have up and down rocky sections. These buildings all seem to be extra, and I would assume it is just fenced all the way around with, I imagine, nothing important. Again, this might be the reason we're seeing snow here and nowhere else. Might be that they've unloaded several textures to load in this texture. Jonestown itself may be an experiment in early streaming loading, where you take that long walk to Jonestown, it unloads everything that's not it unloads a lot of things from New Vegas, 3D models from New Vegas, and loads in snow-capped mountains and different types of trees and these kind of lantern sections. Yeah, but it definitely feels like Jonestown. Well, there's a bungalow I missed. Let's go and investigate that. Definitely feels like Jonestown, though, is a very small section. I don't know what I'm really expecting to find. It's not like there is a super mutant outfit that you can find, as far as I know. And if I found a weapon, it would be something like a super sledge, something incredibly heavy. I think this guy's inventory
Sure.
is empty.
Just don't treat me like a pack Brahmin, okay?
Take his stim packs from him. And this one doesn't have anything, although weirdly is holding through weight even with no items in his inventory, which makes me think that the numbers are very much made up. So we're going to ask Lily if she wants to go with us on this quest, and that's going to then lead us to this Charleston cave to investigate.
Hello again, dear.
They love to do this joke where you have the super mutants acting feminine.
Oh no, dearie.
Right.
Talk to you soon, dear.
So, well, let's dismiss this guy. We'll pick him up later.
Oh, I thought my charm could win you over, but I'll head back to the old
And we'll take
Hello
Lily.
again, dear. Ooh, those Night Stalkers, always killing my big horners. It'll be nice to give them a piece of my mind.
Stealth Girl perk. Now I guess the question here, she can hold 240, although she's already holding 18.
Hello again, dear.
So I wonder if she will just be a companion
Such a curious little
that we could maybe unlock even more quests from by talking to her.
Someone wants to hear Grandma's story. I grew up in Vault 17. I never even saw the sun until I was super mutants raided the vault and carried a lot of us off. Yes, Leo, I'm getting to that part. They made me one of them, and they put me to work in an army that was going to conquer California. A spy, sometimes an assassin. I killed a lot of folks for the master. Yes, Leo, you helped too. Oh, he was a nasty man, Gary. You don't want to know about him. He was the one who made that super mutant army I told you about. What do you need, sugar?
It does highlight certainly how easy it would have been in the old days to
Such a curious little munchkin, aren't you?
play to your audience, I guess, with these Doctor Who references. Either you play to the audience when this game originally came about with the whole Super Mutant and Master reference, or it just goes over the head of players. There is also certainly a point where you can kind of steal ideas. Doctor Who, in particular, not easy to watch in major parts of the United States in the old days. This would have been pre-cable having a BBC America channel, pre any kind of streaming service, pre being able to VPN and watch TV via a BBC iPlayer. So Lily is following us. I guess the real question is just going to come down to do we have to go around to get to the cave, or is there a way through the fence? There were specific channels, effectively, in the old days. These would have been in like the New York markets, the Los Angeles market, those kind of local channels would air either old episodes of Doctor Who or, well, relatively recent episodes of Doctor Who. And this would have all been Doctor Who pre the reboot. And then there would have been like audio plays and things like that, but the vast majority of nerd fans that would have known Doctor Who and been inspired by
Got a
them.
problem. Could use your help. Been having trouble with NCR mercs harassing the town, and they just showed up again.
Well, we'll, I guess, have to do that.
Killing our bighorners, shooting at the lodge, that sort of thing. It's getting hard to keep people from retaliating. Guess I can't say for sure if they're NCR. Wherever they are, they want us dead or gone. You're human. They might be willing to listen to what you have to say. Maybe. I'm not asking you to kill them. Just talk them into leaving. Hell, pay them off if you have to. Thanks.
So now we have another quest. Let's go talk to these guys and see what they're doing.
Our business is with the muties, not you.
So we have a speech check, which will do. Go away or you have to deal with me and you'll wish you're fighting super mutants instead. Option here is just to wipe out the mercenaries.
I've always known when to fight and when to back down, and it seems to me I ought to back down this time. My men and I are leaving. You won't see us around here again.
That's like
Wasteland is better off without him.
that's the fine kind of mission that I wish happened way more often in the game, so it just felt commonplace and normal. Lily's just following, but because it happens so rarely, it's weird.
Something on your mind? Good. Glad you didn't kill them. Letting them walk away proves we're not bloodthirsty mutants.
These guys
If
look
NCR
kind of
or
like
anybody
Shrek.
else is looking for an excuse to attack Jacobstown, they're not going to get it from us.
So that gets us 250 XP for basically doing nothing. And I have to wonder if I'm not getting more XP just based on my level.
Smart, charismatic, a hell of a mean streak. Doesn't care for humans, prefers fighting them to talking. He's got a lot of pull with Nightkin, though. He talks, they listen. Was hoping he could draw the Nightkin to Jacobstown. Keen is saner than most, but I know he's thinking of going his own way again. He's aggressive, impatient, can't stand sitting around.
So Keen is
Because of a
probably
promise, one
a
I haven't been able to
different
keep.
character.
The Nightkin all suffer from schizophrenia. It's the stealth boys they use, or used to use. Nightkin have a hard time being seen like normal folks. Can't stand it. A few already left to try and find more stealth boys. Miserable situation. They either stay here and suffer, or dig up stealth boys and lose their minds. Not much of a choice.
And I wonder if the few that left were the people, the Nightkin we met in the Roboco location.
That happens, there's a good chance other Nightkin will follow. It'll make it hard to get a cure to them. Worse, if Keen and the Nightkin tear up the Mojave hunting for stealth boys, people are gonna get killed. Most humans can't tell the difference between mutants. Might come here looking for payback. That's like saying Kaisar and Kimball would listen to each other. Nightkin don't have a lot of trust for others, mutants included. All right.
So I probably should talk to
See you.
Keen some more. But let's see if we can get the little hauled out rock here. And see, I do think they are doing a nice thing by spray painting hauled out rocks more, where Fallout 3 had like one hauled out rock you were told about if you got lucky, and then there probably were several others in the game, but you would never find them because there was no marker or indicator. Am I going the right direction? I guess we are. It feels like there's a decent chance that Keen would take over Jacobstown if we so decided to let it play out that way. I'm going to try to not let it play out that way. And here's a problem with verticality is the best thing I can do is just go up high, see if the cave entrance is high up here, and then if I find it's not there, I can work my way downward. But I don't think there's any chance you're just going to be able to Bethesda walk your way all the way over the peaks of these mountains. I still have this weird feeling that this whole game feels like it could just end with it all being a dream, it all being a simulation. In particular, Obsidian would have done Bethesda a favor, or Bethesda could have demanded that, or at the end it just reveals itself to be all a dream. That's not a terrible thought for any spin-off game, really, if you're going to have a different company. If you're going to have a different company make a spin-off game, set it up in such a way that it's not going to affect the rest of the story. And at a certain point, that is what they tried to do by having this set in New Vegas. Let's turn on the light. Still incredibly dark interior. What is our quest, by the way? Just to make sure. Look for the source of the Nightcrawler stealth mutation. Alright, so we're just looking. I assume that's going to involve stealthed Nightkin attacking us. Not Nightkin, Night Stalker. So here's an interesting question to ask. What is our perception at? 7? So if we level up, it might be worth it to bump up to a higher amount. So you've got some kind of electronic, I guess this is probably enclave lighting here in the corpse. So is this the idea that there's some kind of either vault or enclave experiment going on? Still getting 50 XP every time. And at this point, I think I've realized that anytime I pick up an egg, I need to save it. No more selling of eggs, no more cooking them, in the case of Deathclaw eggs. These Night Stalkers do hit fairly hard. So there is an argument to be made to make sure I stay fairly strong in the health department. Object, stim packs. We should still have more Salisbury's that we don't. All we have is Nuka-Colas. So I should just use stim packs. You know what? On that thought then, stim pack. Stim pack hotkey down on the D-pad. Should have done that 60 hours ago, I'm sure. And if I was playing on any high level of difficulty, it would have made a lot of sense to do that, and I almost certainly would have needed to do that. So I guess this is just your spooky cave thought. So we're gonna abominable perk rank 1, kill abominations. Yep. I wish you got perks for doing things more often. I would argue I feel like I've done quite a bit in this game. Sound effects are a little repetitive. Yeah, I guess ideally what I'd like is some kind of charisma stat to increase with specific charisma XP every time I talk to somebody. It seems like we're not swimming. We're just going to be irradiated by my radiation resistance. Whoops. Like, who would have been looking for a trap there? Yeah, my radiation resistance is high enough where they're just going to take that minimal amount of damage. Okay. So there's an area over here that seems like it connects back, then we need to go back into the water, I think. Yep. This is just circling around quite a bit. I really don't like that layout. It guarantees that a thorough player is just going to wander from point to point to point to point. And it creates this level of uncertainty where you just don't know if maybe some of these paths are more connected to other paths. This section here looks like it was going to be connected to another section. We see all these things that look like they might be egg caches, but I don't think there are eggs for the night stalkers. There. Apparently I'm supposed to have used 100 stim packs. I question how I could ever end up pulling that much off. Well, we'll start doing that now. If there is a quest for using 100 stim packs, I can certainly buy stim packs and use them. So I think this is the way, but if I look at the map, it isn't. So this feels weird, but it is kind of the type of thing I would like to have seen more of, is a post-war audio log. Let's see if we can get that playing.
So the Reds finally hit us, just like I always said they would. Vegas is still there as far as I know, but that probably won't last long. Didn't get accepted into one of the vaults, so I did the next best thing and had this place built. Got massive debts, but who cares now? That's every man for himself now. Had to take care of the Paulson boy since he knew about this place. These supplies are for me and nobody else. There's a woman and her daughter up in one of the rooms of the lodge. Might go pay him a visit tomorrow. The man's got needs.
So, yeah, this guy just built his own little vault inside of a cave. I'm a little surprised you don't have more of that happening. Now, none of that does seem like it would explain the Nightkin, though. But, yeah, certainly can't complain about that. It's a small cave, but at least it has some story being told and is different. So here's a Nightkin, we're the Night Stalkers chewing on a stealth boy. Apparently that's the case. And certainly you could have made this cave more linear, you could have had more enemies in it, it could have been more of a gauntlet experience to actually reach the final location. But I guess if you just want to keep it somewhat short and sweet, that's fine too. it is a little unfair of me to complain constantly about how this game doesn't really respect the player's time, and then also point out or say that the game is sometimes a little shortchanged in some of the level designs. Inherently, I think that cave size is perfectly fine. What the problem is I would like, I'm just gonna fast travel. It's easier than trying to walk down the mountain. I'd like to just see more caves, or have a way of detecting caves. It does feel like maybe some spots in Fallout 3 had the problem where you would walk down the road and you would discover something that was way over there, whereas in New Vegas it feels like it's the exact opposite situation where you have to be very close to the object, to a location. Let's go ahead and talk to this guy some more.
I don't want it.
Oh yeah, we were actually going to talk to this guy later.
Finally.
We'll first talk to the doctor and see if we can cure Keen, and hopefully we can cure him.
Someone, is there something else I can do for you? There's still power, but the casing is cracked. I'm astonished that exposure to the stealth radiation could induce mutations so rapidly. More importantly, this explains why my research into this group of Night Stalkers hasn't come up with a cure for the Nightkin. There's only one avenue left for me. I need to run the Mark II test on Lily. It's the only way.
Why Lily and not some other Nightkin?
Lily is eccentric, certainly, but I've never felt she was dangerous. More importantly, she asked if she could help me in some way. I've told her about the risks, and she still insists on helping me. Possibly immediate and permanent metal damage. There's a reason the stealth.
So we do that whole
1-2s
side
never got
quest
beyond
just
the
to
prototype
kind of
stage.
know
Lily already has a pre-existing
Lily.
condition, and the experiment will likely make things worse for her. I'll be waiting.
So we are sacrificing Lily in the name of science, I guess.
Hello again, dear. Of course, dearie.
So it
I know
seems
it's
like
dangerous, but it'll all turn out
this
for the
companion
best. You'll
is
see.
not going to turn
Although
into,
now, it would be rude to keep him waiting.
is not really going to be one we can keep for very long.
The equipment is hooked up and ready. We can start the test as soon as you give me the go-ahead. Oh, all right.
Let's just make sure that we can't
Hello.
activate a terminal and find anything else. I talked to Calamity.
Hey there. Bye.
So with my own science repair skills, just wanted to see if there was any piece of equipment we could investigate. This is interesting. I don't feel like I've seen these planters anywhere else. Another 3D model that didn't get used.
The equipment is hooked up and ready. Very well. Please stand back. I don't want any erroneous readings. You're welcome to stay and observe if you want, though.
So there's just like no equipment.
All right, power on the stealth boy, Lily.
Turning it on. Feels strange. Strange, but good.
Interesting. Try thinking aggressive thoughts now. Think about smashing a rat scorpion.
Lily smash! Yeah!
How are those readings looking, Calamity?
Stealth field is unstable and scrambling things. The reading says gamma wave activity is 0, but that can't possibly be right. Gamma wave activity is 0. That can't be right. Must be a result of the interference.
All right, we're done here. Go ahead and power the stealth boy down, Lily.
Oh, I liked having it on.
I'll get back to you on that in a moment, once I've analyzed the results. Uh-oh.
Well, well, congratulations on getting the Mark II prototype functional, Doctor. Now, just hand it over, and we'll be on our way.
Let's talk to Keen.
My request is perfectly reasonable. Give us the stealth boy specs, and there will be no need for us to splatter the room with your insides.
So we needed a speech at 80. And so yeah, he was just hanging around here to take the Mark Boy Part 2.
No, I didn't. Not until now, anyway. Very well, human. You've made your point, and I withdraw my request.
Hello.
Again, that just feels like that is a little too short of a quest. You can see they're all walking in unison. But yeah, feels like there was more. There should have been more to do around it. Now I don't know why the gamma wave is 0.
Nice work with the Nightkin. I've never seen anyone able to talk their kind out of anything once they had their mind set to it. I got a lot of useful data from the experiment, and am a lot closer to a cure than before. It's occurred to me that this brief test might not yield a cure anytime soon. However, if Lily were to continue to wear the prototype...
Okay. So we have science 87 out of 90. We would have needed it to be higher. But yeah, you know you're gonna fail, and you can't bring up the menu.
I understand. Get back to me with an answer as soon as you can.
So you have to come over here, and then we have to find something that would bump our science up. There we go, Programmer's Digest. Now,
Have you come to a decision on Lily? I'll need to know before I can do anything else.
now we're at science 90.
That's brilliant. Simple yet elegant. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
That gave me 590 XP doing all that.
Is there something else I can do for you? Promising, but I won't be able to say. Yes, yes.
So, okay, this puts us in a interesting position. Let's talk to this guy.
Bother someone else. Humans are always staring. It is different. I represent.
Let's exhaust all of this. I really don't care too much about what he's gonna say. I was just hoping that there'd be a quest. Okay. Now, can Lily be our companion for longer?
Hello again, dear. That'd be lovely, dearie.
Then, what I'd like to do, as just a way of saving some time, I feel like we have to go. Well, we got. I'm not picking up too much, so I guess it just doesn't matter. We need to go to Freeside entrance. This will be an interesting experiment on just saying what what's going to happen when I walk around with Lily. Will people overreact to that? Or they be fine with that?
Looking for a fix, man? Yep.
Dixon, the drug dealer. And just always gonna get attacked by a Freeside thug. Trying to find the kings.
Hey, you're the one who's been going around helping people around here, right? The king says to keep up the good work. He said to give you this.
Yeah. Now what I should have experimented with is just dismissing this guy and just seeing if the dog appears. That didn't work. Okay. So we want to go here to Freeside. Then
if it can be bought, it can be found at Mick and Ralph's.
so you have to go through one load screen, then you have to come to another load screen. All this just to pick up the dog. Then we'll fast travel and move the dog quest forward. And I have no idea if there are any side quests that are going to pop up for Lily or not. May very well just be a case that just doesn't actually happen with every companion. It definitely felt like that in Skyrim there were some companions that felt more important than others. There definitely was one companion in Skyrim that was made way more interesting to keep. Okay, I hear the dog. So now it's just going to be a matter of finding the dog. At least we know we're not wandering around for no reason. Imagine the dog is in the king's room. At the top of the stairs here. Most Christ. Pacer is still alive.
Alright, I'll see you later.
Oh, alright, you've got a thing with people with hats. He hates rats. Okay, so apparently for this quest I cannot wear a hat. And talking to a dog is not likely Yep. I imagine there's just not going to be a lot going on here as far as all of that. Now, ideally, one thing that could make a modern game more accessible is that you could just fast travel from this location. it's not going to hurt anything in this situation. One thing that also occurred to me is that if you were going to create a new game in this style, you probably should make some lore around clones or tongueless mutants of some sort, or monks that have cut their tongues out, things like that, where you wouldn't have to hire new voice actors to replace characters that might get killed. Because inherently, if I had just gone in there and shot Pacer or the King, any line of dialogue there would not be heard at that point, but you still would have potential quests you would like to be able to finish. And so the way Bethesda games usually affect that is either there will be, say, a key in the pocket of the main NPC characters that would unlock some doors, or there would be a note in their pocket that would let the quest continue. But sometimes you do just fail the quests immediately. I'm pretty sure this guy's going to tell me to go to Vault 22.
Hello.
Is there something else I can do for you? It's neural degradation. Biomed gel can only preserve a living brain for so long, so you'll need to find a replacement. I haven't left Jacobstown in years, but there was one woman in Novak, Gibson. I remember her living with a pack of hounds. Aside from her, I know that the Fiends and Caesar's Legion fight alongside dogs. There could be viable specimens among them, if you can get to them.
Oh, I already have a new brain for Rex. Because in my random wandering hours ago, I fought the Fiends, and inside that I did collect a brain. So this quest is going to end way quicker than it really should. Otherwise it would have sent me fighting Legion and the Fiends.
Very well. Show me what you brought so that I can analyze its potential.
I took it from a fiend dog named Violetta. It would have had to have been a named dog. So.
Big brain on this one. Alright, let's see. Damn. Heavy amounts of the chemicals used in the drug Turbo are present. Transplanting this brain will make Rex faster than he was before.
Sounds fine to me.
Have a seat. This will take a while.
Yeah. The other quest would have almost certainly sent me into this region, which wouldn't have been the worst idea ever. And so now what does the quest say? Doesn't say anything.
Is there something else I can do for you?
So Rex is just now got a new brain, and we could talk to him, I guess. So as we're still jumping around, let's find Caleb McAfee. He is at the Strip North Gate, which gives me an excuse. We never did figure out the sharecropper farm quest, where we were supposed to get the water running on that. I imagine we still won't be able to figure that out. I thought we had fixed the water situation, but the water's not on. would have sworn this was going to send me to Vault 22 to fix the dog's brain, but I guess not.
Give us the water.
Alright, where's this guy?
Howdy. Something else?
So yeah, there's some quest here, but I don't know what it is or what I did wrong. We've got all kinds of markers. Vault 34. Yeah, the thought was that this east cistern would need some repair or work on it, but not seeing anything I can do here. Maybe I should just follow the hollow triangle markers. Radiation detected. No leaks are detected within the facility. Please investigate external causes to correct the issue. So it says radiations. Something is causing radiation. Having a super mutant with me would mean they would be invulnerable to radiation. Everything is stealing in this area. So maybe I am supposed to just follow this pipe. This little triangle is pointing to this building. Wow. Just now I have detected the East Pump Station. I've been in and out of this building so many times. That is a perfect highlight of the problems. The just characters and locations not appearing or not being detected. And so the thought would be to either chase it that way or chase it this way. Assume there isn't a sewer element. Maybe there is. You know there are sewers all over the place. The dog hates rats, or at least the dog used to hate rats. Me killing rats, though, is only gonna get me a small amount of XP. Sweet Jill. Just a named character dead. Were they always dead, or did I just take too long to take everything. These rats couldn't hurt me if they tried. Giant rat pups. Will we find...
There's my alarm. Time to take my pills.
Am I over encumbered already? Yes, I am. Should have dropped off items. Everything else I've been doing up until this point hasn't been picking up items, so as soon as I start to pick up items, okay, well, you've got a strong inventory back. Let's hope they don't throw frag grenades. Let's also not give any weapon that's actually going to do a decent amount of damage. And yep. Probably have a bunch of pointless items. Good news is it doesn't seem like this is going to take that long. Bad news is this still is just a lot of nonsense. Let's not give a stealth boy to her. Okay. See, that didn't really change her outfit, I think, at all. I just don't think she can use any of that. Giant rat meat. Okay. So my assumption is that this is just going to eventually highlight. Alright, feral goal needs some actual bats. That'll regain her some karma. These are all glowing green, so I wonder if there isn't radiation. We have 2 new companions, and I really wish the game always was more balanced like this, where you would do, ideally I think I'd like about 30 to 40 minutes of gameplay. Aerotech Office Park. So that's a whole new area. But yeah, I'd like to do 30 or 40 minutes of walk and talk, finish your quest type experience. And then I would like to do transitional, let's run into some rats, shooting them. At this point, shooting the rats is more of a grind towards just finishing perk and challenges than it is getting XP to actually level up. I definitely... Yeah, we have the flashlight on and it's still too dark. Yep. I definitely am not really thinking that this is going to drastically... Looks like there's something under there, but that may just be a light. Unlike Fallout 3, I don't think we're going to fix the sewers and the plumbing and then water is going to be perfect. North sewers. We probably are going to end up needing to stay in the sewers. But let's investigate everything first. It would be interesting, I guess, if NCR sharecroppers Mojave Wasteland. So this sewer is a interconnecting sewer, somewhat like the stations, the underground tunnels in Fallout 3, but much smaller tunnels, I would say, and less necessary. A lot of the tunnels in Fallout 3 were the only way to get to a place, and it was just a way in which they were hiding load screens. Yeah, I don't think it's worth picking up giant rat meat. Central sewers. North sewers, central sewers, central sewers. Here, it definitely feels more akin to the idea that you could totally miss this entire complex. And if you were to miss that entire complex, then you may miss out on entire quests. Aerotech Office Park. So let's look on the world map. Yeah. We really have not been at this location, and this looks to me like this is an NCR location. So if it was like super dangerous to travel by road, then sewers would have been something that made a lot more sense. But it's not really that dangerous, at least playing on very easy. Let's see. So I think I want to investigate the north sewers. If I can remember how to get there. Yep. I think that's probably where the blockage is. And if we go to the central sewer, I suspect that'll be a central hub. I don't expect that there would be a big change to the overworld where it just became very dangerous and you had to travel by sewer. It definitely seems like the sewers only really cover the north part of the map anyways. Wonder how much radiation. Yep. But this isn't even a main quest that has pushed us in this direction. for all I know, I'm about to just find yet another city with another faction. But yeah, I do expect the sewers kind of go here and then wrap around, maybe even go over here. And there might even be a sewer entrance that gets you into New Vegas, which definitely seems like that is the main focus of the entire map. But yep, today we have made one more step towards finishing any quest that you really can do, and then so I will be split down to moving the main story forward or looking for new quests. I could, of course, always turn on the radio to look for more random quests, but we didn't manage to actually level up. We're right on the edge. If I got just about 150 more, I would level up one more time. We have seen a full science quest now that wanted 90, so there is an argument, I think, at this point to think about bumping everything up to 90. I didn't think that was going to be a requirement, really, but it's still probably wiser to just try and get energy weapons and explosives up higher instead. And we now have a full list of factions, so if they introduce one more faction, it would be scrolling downward, and I would hope that this is all of them. I'm not sure any of them, though, are the mutants. Yeah, as far as the factions. But yeah, we really didn't accomplish as much as I would have liked, though. I know we didn't go a full 2 hours today, but there still is definitely not a fast enough pace for my liking. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.